from China's point of view, they want to get, they don't like the U.S. having this reserve currency because it gives us, a lot of leverage over, Iranian oil supply chains and all sorts of things like that. They don't want the renminbi to become a reserve currency because then you have to open your capital account and you have to do all sorts of things that they really don't want to do. I think the euro, you could think of as, was in part a Chinese weapon against the dollar. It didn't, the last decade it hasn't quite worked out that way, but that was, China would have liked to see two reserve currencies like the euro. And, even though I'm sort of a pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin maximalist person, I do wonder whether at this point Bitcoin is also should also be thought in part as a Chinese financial weapon against the U.S., where it threatens fiat money, but it especially threatens the U.S. dollar, and China wants to do things to weaken it. So it's sort of China is long Bitcoin, and perhaps from a geopolitical perspective, the U.S. should be a little bit be asking some tougher questions about exactly how that works. But some internal stable coin in China, that's not a real cryptocurrency. That's just that's just some sort of totalitarian measuring device.
Okay, so this is a little sus. Lots of people that got their stimulus check said that their stimulus was signed by a woman named Vera Robinson. I didn't get a check, so I can't verify this signature. But if you look up who Vera Robinson is, she's the bankruptcy specialist at the Department of Treasury. Just a little bit weird. Is this really happening? Like, are we legit fucking bankrupt? Like, why is the bankruptcy specialist signing our fucking checks? Somebody that got a check better check this signature and let us know.
What do you think has to happen from your vantage point for a Bitcoin or an Ethereum to actually be a regulated, or whether you think well, I imagine you think it ultimately has to be regulated, but what would have to happen? Give me your sort of 5 years out, what's supposed to happen if this is supposed to be a real thing?
Look, I think what is the use case? What's the permanent use case for anything, right? That's how you look at an investment.
That would suggest that that actually 5 years from now we wouldn't necessarily be talking about this, because we just talked about how a commodity, we could say, is a real thing. Unless you're saying you think you're. You asked me
right. where something is in the future. Okay, I'm going to be philosophical with you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think you know that I love markets. You know that I love ingenuity. One of the I'm not going to take credit for this, but one of the wonderful things about America is, if there's a new technology, we pour an incredible amount of energy and capital into it, and it's a race to figure out what the best use for that technology is. And there are lots of failures and there's some successes, but anybody who predicts with certainty where that race is going to end and who is going to emerge, I want to meet them, because I can tell you that I thought, I'll say this because I thought that what was it, Webvan? Yeah. I thought Webvan was going to be a great idea and Amazon was not so smart. That shows you how good I am, right? But there was this incredible race to use data and information to provide delivery. Webvan, does anybody remember Webvan besides me?
What are you guys doing? Because I know you are also venturing into CBDCs.
Well, I think one big difference is that Ripple as a company, sort of made a big bet in 2014 or 2015 on pursuing enterprise payments and XRP as a payment solution. And we directly worked very hard on allowing banks and financial institutions to be able to use XRP as a way to settle their payments in just a few seconds and as an alternative to the correspondent banking system. There's a lot of work involved in doing that. You have to provide complex software that integrates with banking systems. I think we've made a lot more progress on that. We have millions of transactions that are taking place, not on the XRP Ledger, but actually these are transactions implemented on RippleNet by financial institutions, mostly, non-bank financial institutions, banks, payment companies, and so on.